What's up, Goon the Spire gamers? A friend of mine recently made a metadata site for Great Rift specifically, along with it being a pretty solid deck builder in database, among other things. But let's just get straight into it. In the meta tab, we can see the full leaderboard across both servers combined. So this is combined between Asia and global. AS here represents Asia, while GL represents global. Tier lists based on usage in Great Rift do take some of this with a grain of salt. Like Kayron is number 6 overall in both leaderboards and very competitive for top spots in this Great Rift, but underplayed because of him being paid to lose. So this doesn't really reflect that, and Vanguard side kind of doesn't matter that much. You can make most things work if you want to, so it's just based on usage, basically. In the analytics tabs, we basically just see a breakdown of a bunch of extra data from the current Great Rift. Again, this is just really nice info to have in to see if you care about that. I'm someone who does, so it's fun information. For more detailed information on this Great Rift and an eco feature, I think this is really rad. If we look at 9, we can see sorting by egos that she was completely uncompetitive in the top of the leaderboard without E6.
Hi, Fatty.
Leaderboard literally doesn't change if you sort by E6, meaning it was just Kayron and Tiph competing for the top spots for free-to-play gamers. I think that she literally was like E0, the top rank was like only rank 70 or something, so very, very below Tiph and Kayron. Because if we look at Tiph, she has the top spot at E0. She was completely free-to-play friendly. This was her main Great Rift, so that makes sense, and very approachable, and literally is getting number 1 in this total leaderboard at the moment with E0. For Kayron, we can see very interesting data, which is that none of his users were ever above E1 because his E2 plus was completely unplayable. Who would have thought?
And yes, there will be some casualties. Yes, there will. Okay.
Completely pay to lose unit, an issue that's definitely been brought to SG's attention well before this GR, but he's basically artificially removed from competing in his best Great Rift, where you can see from scores, he was genuinely a contender for number 1 if more people played him. Like, he's extremely underplayed. The issue is most Kayron players like myself literally can't play him because we have his E2, so it's very nice to have that information right in front of us, like, oh, no one above E2 was able to play this Great Rift, right? In the Combatant build tab, we can see personalized information for every combatant, including their popular egos in rankers, etc., accessories, etc. Again, based on data in player usage, so there can be some discrepancy between what is like their top potential and what is popular, right? Because some things are more rare than others. You can also get some recommended decks through Combatant build tabs. These builds are recommended based on usage and score, basically, but for this, specifically for deck recommendations, I would recommend going to Prydwen because it recently got updated for that, and I will make another post on this soon, but you can see there's fully fleshed out deck and epi review tabs now with detailed information on when to take what epi and example decks that are good for specific scenarios. Like here for Hugo, he has 2 main builds, which are extra attacker and draw, and you can
I'm not a furry. You guys are gross.
kind of do a mix of both, but the build section and the deck section, the epi review section, they cover when to take what and why, and gives you a lot of information on like more generic usages. But the metadata one is based on usage in Great Rift specifically, so once it's more fleshed out, it doesn't have decks for everybody. Once it's more fleshed out, it will probably be the go-to for Great Rift decks, right? Something this site also does really well is it has a new deck builder. At this point we have 3, and you can kind of choose your flavor, but I know he's actively working very hard to make this as good as it can be, and it has a lot of great features like the usual picking epiphanies, adding neutrals. You have options for exporting, copying, importing, and sharing code right here, and a few more features, like it has a save data calculator, which doesn't really mean anything, but I know some people are gonna love. And it has a great team functionality, which probably the best of any deck builder we have right now. And a fun hidden feature that was originally a bug, but me and him both like, is you can add a neutral card as a teammate if you want to have like a placeholder teammate. Say you have like a spore neutral, for example, and you want it to be a placeholder for any teammate that could hold the spore card. So that's very useful for screenshots and just giving useful information for people on decks, right? All around very solid there. Finally, there's a database here, pretty standard, but it does have a few more tidbits than most other databases, which is it tells you what order a unit will show up in. Since units actually have a hidden role that affects their position in battle, this really only matters with initiation cards, so don't look too much into this, and we're not really sure how tiebreakers work right now, but yeah, so that's there if you want it. Like, Hugo is going to always be in the middle according to the data, and then Malin is always going to be in the front unless, again, there's a tiebreaker or something. For other features, deck search and profile functions are currently inactive but will be added soon according to Slive, and he does have a Ko-Fi here if you want to support him. I know he's currently using his own money to maintain the domain, so just a few supporters would be enough to keep it running for every Great Rift, which would be pretty sweet because it doesn't cost that much money to maintain a domain, but obviously I don't think he wants to be losing money, so do consider supporting him if you have the funds to. As a final note, I wanted to mention that this is pinned on the Reddit right now, and something I have no personal stakes in, even though, again, he's a friend of mine, but I'm not profiting in any way from this. He's simply an acquaintance that was making this and was like, hey, this is useful new information for the community. Do you mind sharing it? And of course I was immediately down. My point in bringing this up was there is a small but vocal amount of the community who are upset with my pins or believe I'm only pinning stuff for like my own gain. But I will pin any new and useful gameplay aid information, any like game breaking issue that is affecting multiple people, if I am asked to. A lot of times people do not ask me to pin things. I have to like actively ask, like, hey, do you want me to pin this? And they'll be like, no, I'm good. But it's only, yeah, it's not me only pinning things that I have personal stakes in. So if you ever make a site or whatever that you think is useful for the community to see it and want to have it pinned, you can consider DMing me on Reddit. That's probably the best way to reach me if you don't already have correspondence. I am more active on Discord under Stomper, just Stomper, but my DM settings probably won't allow you to see me, so you could consider trying that, but not guaranteed that you'll be able to contact me if you don't DM me through Reddit. But if you DM me through Reddit, I'll eventually see and respond. That's all. Cheers.